pages of stories written about my classmates that doubled as weirder retellings of Back to the Future and E.T., tomes by Shel Silverstein and Beverly Cleary, and cellophane paper you drew on with magnets and visible ink. And he walked over to one of my boxes. "You can't take all this shit," he said. He pried one of them open, an issue of I-Men #1, their only adventure really, that was born into the world, the cover hanging loosely with rusting staples, its pages stained with cereal milk and panels half finished, and the worlds crudely rendered with the lucid elegiac passion of a 12-year-old boy, only just then beginning to know the difference between the washed-over dream of the fantastic and the crushing banality of the real world. "Get rid of it. Did you buy this? You didn't even buy any of this shit. It ain't worth nothing, just drawings. Get rid of it." And I tried to imagine Thunderer leaping from the pages of I-Men #1, his body crackling with power and punching his skull out of the back of his head. It was abruptly returned to reality when a pile of my drawings landed against my bony chest. And so, every box was loaded into the car, every piece of our aging furniture, every lamp and light fixture, every dream we had purchased for ourselves in hopes of a better life, filled the two cars. On my final ride, I snuck away and rummaged through a trash can and, in a panic flurry, ripped from the rising pile a thin, half-torn page, some disproportionate image of something wild, and tucked it into the small of my back. "Alex, come get in this car," my mother called out. I sprinted towards the car and hunkered down in my window seat. My brother gave me a look, and I just stared out of the window as our neighborhood dissolved into the mist of memory. Present. One sit rep, nano, stargazer. The box sits on a creaky table in a dust-strewn warehouse, its wires spiraling out of it like angry tentacles. Occasionally it sparks, buzzes, whirs, its once angelic voice now hidden behind fuzzy, distorted tangle, lifting out of it in spurts, in random tones, blips, and random words. 190 star, transmogrified genomorphs, temporal temperature gauge, star. He punches it, kicks it, bangs on the desk. He lifts it, and as he's about to smash it for good, there's a noise at the door. 2 feet of steel rumbles, shakes, its bolts rattling right out of their hinges. It's blown open and she's standing in the doorway. Her hair is shaved on one side, half of her face is scarred and peeling. Her body is fit snugly into a rotting t-shirt held together by a twin gun holster, callous leather pants, and combat boots. "How'd you do that?" he asks her. "I've been calling you for 2 days. What?" She surveys the area. A moldy cot and moss-grown concrete walls, barbs of steel caked in blood sawn off and discarded all across the room. "Let's get you out of here." "How the hell did you do that? None of us have been able to use our power since the Axis days." "Right, well, they just started up again. I don't know. It's like I can concentrate really hard and my adrenaline's pumping, and I can just do some things. It's hard." "Where are the others?" His eyes are alive now. He's pacing the room, frantic. Metal blotches and corroded wires hang from his body in places where once sat sliding LCD screens and artificial intelligence biocompasses. Nano mainframes and shift nav systems now turned into a mesh of decaying steel. "There are no others," she said, checking her pistol. "You're a mess." He looks at the deep scar on the side of her face, the smear of ash and blood on her bare, scarred arms. "And you're still a vision," he remarks. He doesn't know if he's being sarcastic, but part of him is certainly telling the truth. "Cyber data disengaged, cyberlink transient, touchscreen disengaged, cybertech moonlighting, G.I. Joe, demon, 1-star, gay star in my pocket like..." She looks at the device in his hand, shaking her head. "God, I've always hated that thing. Let's go," she says. She pulls him down the long corridor of the warehouse. It's littered with dead bodies and coated in a stench. Its walls are crumbling in gray-black. A thought pricks her mind. She's floating over a cloud in a clear blue sky. Winds and anxious tumult. Ice cracks through her veins, and she's backlit by the sun. She rides through the cities, etching her jet streak on the side of skyscrapers, pissing off the stuffed shirts in office buildings, and then she dives down into traffic and plucks a bank robber or a thug or a cybernetic nano-ghost mercenary off the streets with a gust of wind, all at her command. "I still wish I could control the weather," she says under her breath in a faint whisper. They make their way through the tunnel of the warehouse. Why didn't we heed Mystica's warning? Why didn't we make sure? He turns to her, broken as he is, and tries to comfort her. His